بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. This is lesson number 12 from the explanation of At-Tuhfah Al-Wasaabiyyah, and inshallah today we'll be starting the bab Al-I'rab والبناء. And really it's bab Al-I'rab. He doesn't go into Al-Bina per se, but to understand the I'rab and what I'rab is, then you understand what Bina is by default, because al-bina is the opposite of al-i'rab. Because if al-i'rab is the taghyir awakhir al-kalam, then the bina is luzum al-akhir al-kalimah halatan wahida. So as we're going to see inshallah, it's not too difficult, but this is like the important part, because this is nahu. Now, like all the other stuff was kind of like a introductory type thing, type stuff, but this right now we're getting into like what nahu is about. Alright, so once we hit the bab al-i'rab wal-bina, now we're like really getting into what we're studying nahu for, inshallah. So this is it. Alright, so he said bab al-i'rabi wal-bina. He said قال باب الإعراب. الإعراب هو تغيير أواخر الكلمة لاختلاف العوامل الداخلة عليها لفظا أو تقديرا. So this ta'rif that Sahib al-Ajuramiyyah gave is the best ta'rif, and you're going to see this ta'rif throughout all the different books of Nahu. He said he's given the definition of al-i'rab. Al-i'rab huwa taghyir awakhir al-kalam, because Nahu is a science that focuses on the changing of the last part of the word and how it changes, whether it's through al-i'rab or bina. But the i'rab is going to change based on the awamil. All right, li-ikhtilaf al-awamil. So like for example, Zaydun, Zaydan, Zaydan. Zaydun, Zaydan, Zaydin. Now this is the asma. And then you have, for example, with the fi'l, like, let's look at the fi'l mudari', which is mu'rab, because the rest of the af'al, they're not mu'rab, they're mabni. Alright, so the fi'l amr is mabni, and the fi'l madi is also mabni. So the fi'l mudari', which is mu'rab, we have yadhhabu, yadhhaba, and yadhhab. So here we have three different halat of the end of these words. With the ism, we have Zaydun, Zaydan, Zaydin. Alright, and then with the fi'l we have yadhhabu, yadhhaba, and yadhhab. So here we have the change. We see the change in the last part of the word. And what is that change? He said li'ikhtilaf al-awamil. And it's because of the changing of the awamil, the thing that's functioning in the sentence, causing that change to happen in the sentence. So for example, Zaydun fil masjid. Alright, Zaydun fil masjid. So now Zaydun is marfu' bid-dhamma. And what causes this to become marfu' is al-ibtida', because Zaydun here is mubtada'. Alright, but if I say ra'aytu Zaydan, now what causes it to change is the fi'l. Ra'aytu Zaydan. So now Zaydan is maf'ulun bi mansub. Alright, bil fatha dhahira fi akhiri, right? So now, and then we have marartu bi Zaydin. Marartu bi Zaydin. So now we have Zaydin, which is majroor bi harf jar. So the amal, you see the word changed, that causes this change, it also changed in the word. So in the sentence, sorry. So here we have al-ibtida', the second one we have the maf'ulun bi, and the third one we have majroor bi harf jar, right? So when the case with the verbs, then you say, like for example, yadhhabu Ahmadu ila suq, or yadhhabu Ahmadu ila al-masjid kulla yawmin. But then if you say lan yadhhaba Ahmadu ila suq al-yawm, that he's not going, so lan yadhhaba. So now it changes from yadhhabu to yadhhaba. And or if you say lam yadhhab Ahmadu ila suq al-yawm, that Ahmed did not go to the market today. Lam yadhhab. So see the amal, it changed. What causes this change in the word, it changed. So he said, and this is what is meant by huwa taghyir awakhir al-kalimi li'ikhtilaf al-awamil. So the awamil, they've changed. The awamil is the plural form of al-amil. Amil is the one that does this action, that causes that change to happen in the word. Alright, because we have the amil and then we have the ma'mul. So the amil, like for example, the amil for yadhhaba is going to be lan yadhhaba. Alright, and the amil that's going to cause, like for example, the jar, and for example, like al-bayti is going to be like fil bayti. Alright, so this is the amal that's causing the change. العوامل الداخلة عليها لفظا أو تقديرا. So, and we're gonna go over all this in more detail, inshallah, throughout. I don't think we're gonna finish this in this lesson with as many pages as this is. Inshallah, this is gonna take at least 2 or 3. So we'll see. But lafdhan, it means that it's that you say it. Like for example, like baytun, baytan, baytin. Taqdiran is for 3 different purposes that we're gonna see, inshallah, when we go through it. It's like, for example, like al-fata. Al-fata, you say, like, for example, جاء الفتى, رأيت الفتى, ومررت بالفتى. Because here at the end of the word, we have the ending. It prevents the i'rab from showing on the last part of the word, but it's still present. But it's muqaddar. All right, it's hidden, but it's still present. So even though we don't say it, like we don't say, like, for example, جاء, we say جاء الفتى, it's still marfu'. And it's still bid-dhamma, but it's bid-dhammatun muqaddara. Alright, so it's not bid-dhamma dhahira. So, and this is the taqdir. Alright, so when he says taqdiran, it means for this purpose. Alright, for the purpose that it like la yathar. It's not shown, it doesn't come out. Alright. So then he said, أقول الإعراب والبناء هما أساس علم النحو. So this is the foundation of the علم النحو, is the إعراب والبناء. Because this is it. إذ عليهما يدور حكم آخر كل كلمة, because between these 2 things, the how you judge each word is going to be between these 2. All right. والمصنف رحمه الله ذكر الإعراب ولم يذكر البناء ونحن بعون الله سنذكره بعد الإعراب. So as he mentioned, that صاحب الأجرومية, he did not mention al-bina. He only mentioned al-i'rab, because I think, wallahu alam, the reason why, because if you understand al-i'rab, you understand that the bina is the opposite of the i'rab, but that still needs to be explained and needs light to be shed on that. But he wanted to keep the book easy. He said, فأما الإعراب فهو بكسر الهمزة. بكسر الهمزة الإعراب إعراب بكسر الهمزة. ويأتي لغة لمعان كثيرة, and it has different meanings in the language. منها الإظهار والبيان. It means to bring something out, to explain something. تقول أعربت عما في نفسي. That means that you express what's within yourself. أعربت ما في نفسي. All right, أظهرته وبينته, because you brought it out and you've expressed it and clarified it. So this is al-i'rab in the language. He said, ومنها التحسين. All right, to beautify something, like you say, like for example, تقول أعربت الشيء أي حسنته. All right, أعربت الشيء أحسنته. واصطلاحا, and it means in the terminology of أهل النحو ما ذكره المصنف بقوله تغيير إلى آخره. So like he said, that the meaning in the Nahu is exactly as the author of Al-Ajrumiyyah said it is, which is هو تغيير أواخر الكلمة لاختلاف العوامل الداخلة عليها لفظا أو تقديرا. He said, والمراد بتغيير أواخر الكلم تغيير أحوال أواخرها. So it's not the actual changing of the end of the word, but it's the changing of the state of the end of the word, from dhamma to fatha to kasra, and so on and so forth. So he said it's not the actual changing of the end, so because the end stays the same. So if we look at like yadhabu, yadhaba, yadhab, the ba, it doesn't change. We're not changing the end of the word, but we're changing the state of the end of the word by saying yadhabu, yadhaba, yadhab. So the state of the end of the word changed, not the actual end. So he said تغيير أحوال أواخرها لا تغيير الآخر بنفس لا تغيير الآخر نفسه. فإنه لا يتغير. All right, the last harf, it never changes. It doesn't change. He said, well, in the majority of the scenarios, but if it's a harf al-illah, then as we're going to see, as part of the i'rab is actually, the harf al-illah will get dropped in certain scenarios. So that is one case where the end does actually change. All right. So he said, ومعنى تغيير أحوال أواخرها تحولها من الرفع مثلا إلى نصب ومن النصب إلى الجر. So he's saying that it's changing from رفع, which is a dhamma, إلى نصب, which is with a fatha, ومن النصب إلى جر, which is with a kasra. He said وسبب هذا التغيير هو اختلاف العوامل الداخلة عليها من عامل يقتضي الرفع إلى عامل يقتضي النصب إلى عامل يقتضي الجر. Alright, so he's saying that it's changing because of a word that causes dysfunction to to happen. So from a amil, something that causes a rafa, to something that causes a nasb, to something that causes the jar. So because of these changes, because of these words changing, then the function, the end of it changes. I don't know, like we're gonna have to come up with some type of word to use for like amil, because this type of function, it doesn't exist in the English language, because obviously there's no, you don't have these types of changes that happen in the English language. So out of all the years that I taught English grammar, even I don't even know of a word. I mean, like I said, maybe I'm not overthinking it or not, but I don't know of a word in syntax, grammatical structures, anything that would take this word amil. But the amil is like the cause of that change, the factor that causes the change, and this is the amil. Because amil, it comes from the word amila, which means to do an action. An amil is the ism fa'il of that word. So anything that does an action, but in this case it's the cause of the change, the agent of the change of the last part of the word. It's the agent of that cause. So this is the amil, or in the jama' is in the plural form is the awamil. All right. So inshallah, I want to try to I guess go with one term. I'm just going to use the word amil. And inshallah, hopefully after this lesson, everybody will understand what the word amil means, inshallah. So the amil and the awamil is the agent that causes the change in the word. So when we say, like, for example, min al bait, what caused the bait to go from something that's with a dhamma to a kasra? What was the agent of change here? The agent of change was the harf jar, which is min. So this is the amil. All right. And the same thing when we say, like, for example, like zaydun fi dar. Zaydun fi dar, what is the agent of change here? Is ibtida, is a mubtada. It starts the sentence, and everything that starts the sentence, if it's a ism, it has to be marfu'. And even if it's a verb, it has to be marfu'. Yadhhabu ahmadu, if it's a fi'l mudari', taban, not if it's a fi'l madi. But if it's a fi'l mudari', yadhhabu ahmadu ila suq. Alright, because there's no change. But once we put like len yadhhaba ahmadu ila suq, now there's been a change. Now what is the agent of the change? Is len yadhhaba. Because now it entered onto yadhhabu, and it changed it to len yadhhaba. So this is the amil. Alright, so for now on out, I'm just going to use the word amil. Alright, I'm not going to try to express this in English language. So he said, وسبب هذا التغيير هو اختلاف العوامل الداخلة عليها من عامل يقتضي الرفع إلى عامل يقتضي النصب إلى عامل يقتضي الجر كزيد مثلا، فإنه قبل دخول العوامل اسم موقوف ليس معربا ولا مبنيا ولا مرفوعا ولا غيره. So he's saying, once you just have like a word like Zayd right now, it's just mawquf. There's no ruling of this word, whether it's mu'rab, whether it's mabani, whether it's marfu', whether it's mansub, because it's just Zayd. There's nothing here. But now once you put it into a sentence, then we understand what it is. Alright, so ليس معربا ولا مبنيا ولا مرفوعا ولا غيره. Alright, because we don't know until we put it into a sentence. So he said فإذا دخل عليه عامل يقتضي رفعه كان مرفوعا نحو جاء زيد. So now we have the فعل. Alright, زيد, فزيد فاعل مرفوع بالجاء. So جاء is the عامل. That's the عامل. وإن دخل عليه عامل آخر يقتضي نصبه تغير حال آخره من الرفع إلى نصبه نحو رأيت زيدا. فزيدا مفعول به منصوب برأيت. وإن دخل عليه عامل آخر يقتضي جره تغير حال آخره من النصب إلى جر نحو مررت بزيد. فزيد مجرور بالباء. So the باء is the عامل. It's the thing that caused the change. فأنت ترى أن آخر زيد وهو الدال لم يتغير. So the dal itself didn't change, but what changed is the state of the dal. Alright, and this is what he's saying now. فأنت ترى أن آخر زيد وهو الدال لم يتغير وإنما تغير حال آخره من الرفع إلى نصب إلى جر فهذا التغيير هو الإعراب. وهذه الحركات الثلاثة الموجودة إلى آخر زيد هي علامات عليه. وهذا في الاسم. Alright, هذا في الاسم. Alright, obviously because with the fi'l there's going to be different harakat. So with the ism we have three. Alright, we have three. We have the change from the raf', from the raf' ila nasbi ila jar. Alright, those three. with the af'al. Inshallah, he's going to go through that in a second. He said ومثله الفعل المضارع نحو يذهب زيد. فيذهب فعل مضارع مرفوع لتجرده عن عامل يقتضي نصبه أو عامل يقتضي جزمه. فإن دخل عليه عامل يقتضي نصبه تغير حال آخره. Alright, so first off he said that this يذهب زيد. فيذهب فعل مضارع مرفوع. So it's مرفوع. You see the ضمة يذهب. لتجرده. تجرد, it means like a tajarrud, it means to be like how can you say this in English? Because like tajarrud and al-malabis, it means to take off your clothes, right? So tajarrud, it means that it's like I guess you could say like to be free of something. All right. So لتجرده an عامل يقتضي نصبه. So it's free of that. It doesn't exist because it's not with it. You know, it's not connected to it. أو عامل يقتضي جزمه. All right. The jazmu obviously would be يذهب. So فإن دخل عليه عامل يقتضي نصبه تغير حال آخره من الرفع إلى نصب. نحو لن يذهب زيد. فيذهب فعل مضارع منصوب بلن. And of course we've gone over this, so we can just continue reading inshallah. He said when دخل عليه عامل آخر يقتضي جزمه تغير حال آخره من النصب إلى جزم. نحو لم يذهب زيد. فيذهب فعل مضارع مجزوم بلم. Alright, so you see the change is at the end, the ahwal, the state of the end of the last letter, not the actual change in the end. He said, and now we're going to go into, inshallah, لفظا وتقديرا. So he said, وقوله لفظا أو تقديرا معناه أن هذا التغيير الذي يكون في الاسم والفعل ينقسم إلى قسمين أحدهما لفظي وثاني تقديري. Alright, so here it's going to be either one, it's going to be لفظي, or it's going to be taqdiri, which means that it's going to be stated, it's said with, or it's not going to be said, but it's going to be meant. It's not said, but it's meant and it's understood. So this is taqdiri. Taqdiri is anything that is not said, but it is meant and understood. He said, فأما اللفظي فهو ما يظهر في آخر الكلمة اسما كانت أو فعلا كما تقدم في كل من زيد ويذهب. So he said that the lafzi is anything that is manifest, it shows. It's clear, all right? You can see it clearly at the end of the word isman kanat aw fi'lan, whether it's an ism or a fi'l. Just like you see zaydun wa yadhhabu, zaydan wa yadhhaba, all right? Zaydan wa yadhhab, all right? So and there's a change between the ism and the fi'l. He said وَمَا تَقْدِيرِيُّ فَهُوَ ما لا يظهر في الآخر الكلمة وإنما يكون منويا فيها. So it's intended, but it's not. It doesn't actually show. Manwiyan, it means that it's what? It's intended. And the word manwiyan, it comes from the word nawa. All right, nawa, it means to intend. إنما الأعمال بالنيات وإنما لكل امرئ ما نوى. So manwiyan, it means that it's intended. ما لا يظهر في آخر الكلمة, so whatever it does not show at the end of the word, وإنما يكون منويا فيها, so it's intended and it's understood, but it's not said. All right, it's not said. It's not with talaffuz. The talaffuz that has to be said with the tongue. وهو على ثلاثة أقسام, so it's three categories of a taqdiri. This is good. The ثلاثة أقسام, it goes back to the taqdir. It does not go back to the lafz. The lafz is clear. خلاص, it's stated. يذهب زيد ضربت زيدان مررت بزيد لم يذهب لن يذهب. All of this is stated, it's clear, that's lovely. But now with the taqdiri, it's going to be for three different purposes. Like there's three reasons behind it being muqaddar. Okay, so he said الأول ما يقدر للتعذر. ما يقدر للتعذر. So the first reason is تعذر. All right. وذلك في كل اسم معرب آخره ألف لازمة قبلها الفتحة ويسمى مقصورا كالفتى والهدى والعصا ونحو ذلك. So this one is تعذر is in every ism معرب, every ism that's معرب, that's not مبني, آخره ألف لازمة قبلها الفتحة, so it has to have a fatha before it. And that was the example that we gave from the beginning, al-fata. Al-fata. All right, so you see kal-fata wal-huda wal-asa wa nahwu dhalik. So all of these have an alif Alif lazima. It means it doesn't change. So for this reason, and it has a fatha before it. So asa, you see the sod, it has a fatha. Dal with a fatha, al-huda, and wal fatha with a ta with a fatha. So all of these, this is what you call in al-musarraf, is called maqsoor. Maqsoor. Alright, maqsoor. So this one, all of the harakat will be muqaddar alayha. All of them. The dhamma, the fatha, the kasr, all of them. So you say, like, for example, جاء الفتى, رأيت الفتى, مررت بالفتى. Alright. So all of them will be muqaddar. Nothing will show. He said, وتقدر عليه جميع الحركات. Alright, so all the harakat, all of them. نحو جاء الفتى, ورأيت الفتى, ومررت بالفتى. Like we just said. فالفتى في المثال الأول فاعل مرفوع. So if you look at the first example, which is جاء الفتى. Now when we look at the i'rab, alright, the i'rab فاعل مرفوع وعلامة رفعه الضمة المقدرة على الألف منع من ظهورها التعذر. Alright, تعذر. What it means is like يتعذر عن الحركة. يتعذر. It means it is, you have to excuse it because it can't accept that harakah. It can't accept it. It can't accept the dhamma, it can't accept the kasra, it can't accept anything on that alif al-lazima. So this is a ta'adhur. Alright, all of the harakat. He said, وَفِي مِثَالَ الثَّانِي مَفْعُولٌ بِهِ مَنْصُوبٌ. And this is رَأَيْتُ الْفَتَى. So the same word, same al-fata, but now the i'rab is going to change because the taqdir changes. So he said, مفعول به منصوب وعلامة نصبه الفتة المقدرة على الألف منع من ظهورها التعذر. والمثال الثالث, which is ومررت بالفتى مجرور وعلامة جره الكسرة المقدرة على الألف منع من ظهورها التعذر. So this is the opposite of what you would say if you say, like, for example, مررت بزيد. Alright, بزيد it would be بكسرة ظاهرة. Here وعلامة جره الكسرة المقدرة. الكسرة المقدرة, because the kasra is still there. It's still منوي عنه. Alright, but it's not, it doesn't لا يظهر, because obviously this word, this letter, the alif al-lazima, it doesn't accept this harakah. Alright, so it's still there, and it's still, we still say it, but it's muqaddar. So, and this is what he means by مجرور وعلامة جره الكسرة المقدرة على الألف منع من ظهورها التعذر. And the same for the other examples. Like for example, when the Quran came down, you say called جاء الهدى. جاء الهدى. لم يقبل زيد الهدى. لم يقبل زيد الهدى. الإنسان عليه أن يتمسك بالهدى. يتمسك بالهدى ويتبع وبالفعل مفعول به. يتمسك بالهدى. So here we have, here you see it's مرفوع ومنصوب والمجرور, and but all in all the states is هدى الهدى الهدى. The same thing with العصا. يعني هذا عصا, هذا العصا, ورأيت العصا, وضربته بالعصا, وضربته بالعصا. An asa is a stick. Alright, so a stick. Or you could say like yamshi bil asa. Yamshi bil asa. Alright, but it doesn't change. And all of these, the harakah is muqaddara. He said, in the next one, he said, وَمَثَلُ الْفِعْلِ الْمُضَارِعِ الْمُعْتَلِ بِالْأَلِفِ. And he said an example of that would be like the fi'l mudari' al-mu'tal bil-alif. Mu'tal, it means that it has a harf min huruf al-illa. Alright, and the harf al-illa here is a alif. كَيَخْشَى وَيَسْعَى وَيَرَضَى. So وَنَحْوُ ذَلك وَتَقَدَّرَ عَلَيْهِ الضَّمَّةُ وَالْفَتَّةُ فَقَط. نَحْوُ يَخْشَى زَيْدٌ رَبَّهُ وَلَنْ يَخْشَى عَدُوَّهُ. So here here he mentioned that the only two harakat of the muqaddar is the dhamma and the fatha. Alright, so for example, yakhsha zaydun rabbahu, yakhsha. So here we have fi'l mudari' marfu'. Alright, marfu'. And what's the alama here? As we're going to see, well, let me read it because he's going to read it. He's going to say it right now. He said فيخشى في المثال الأول فعل مضارع مرفوع لتجرده عن الناصب والجازم وعلامة رفعه الضمة المقدرة على الألف منع من ظهورها التعذر. So the same as you see with the ism. وفي المثال الثاني منصوب باللن وعلامة نصبه الفتحة المقدرة على الألف منع من ظهورها التعذر. Now he did not mention al-jazm because the jazm, obviously the harf al-illa will be dropped. It will be dropped. But here he only mentions the dhamma and the fatha because these are not dropped. But if you have the harf al-illa at the end and it's majzum, it's the alamat al-jazmihi huwa hadafa harf al-illa. So the harf al-illa will become dropped. So that's why he only mentioned these two in the fi'l. Alright, then he said ومعنى تعذر أن الألف لا تقبل الحركة أصلا لكونها ملازمة للسكون. Alright, so the alif, it doesn't accept any haraka, any movement. Aslan. This is the foundation of the alif. It doesn't accept anything. لكونها ملازمة للسكون, because it is on the state of being with a sukun all the time. That's the state of it, and it doesn't change out of that state. Alright, it doesn't change out of the state. And because the state of something, it doesn't change. The state of something, it doesn't change. So inshallah, with that, we're going to wrap up this lesson for today, inshallah. In the next lesson, inshallah, we'll go over the qism al-thani. And the qism al-thani wa qism al-thalith, inshallah ta'ala, which will be al-thaqal. And the thaqal, of course, is going to be with the ya. And then the next one is going to be lil-munasaba. So inshallah, we'll finish those two in the next lesson, inshallah ta'ala. Ila huna subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, astaghfiruka.